The next challenge was Michael Bank. This is Michael's bank. You can't break into it. It's just impossible. We're given a C# file and a currency conversion file. This was my favorite challenge of the CTF. I'm surprised not many people are talking about it in Discord, but just amazing. I think my background is I was a developer before I did pen testing, and this is just something I've never really thought about too much, and it seems like a mistake that'd be pretty easy to make. Like when you first look at this file, it just doesn't seem possible to do an exploit, but then you find out the exploit really isn't even that hard. Yeah, I really like this challenge. Anyways, so we're given the C# file, Michael Bank. I'm not going to read over all the code, but basically there's a couple different things. So it's Michael's bank. Actually, let's go to the win condition. Where is it? Here it is. So there's a function called check balance, and if the balance of the current user is over $1 million, it says, wow, you have $1 million, here's the flag, read all text, and the flag. So we know that somehow we need to get $1 million, and it's some sort of banking app. And these are the options we have. We can create an account, log in, check balance, check leaderboard, change currency, send money, and exit. And again, I'm not going to read over all the code, but a couple of interesting things. There's a call to set up users. It's going to add 2 users to the bank. One is Michael and one is Bob. Michael has almost $1 million, so it would appear that we want to break into Michael's account. The other interesting thing, though, is when you create a new user, they automatically get $5. Send money, so if it's a new user and they're balanced, so basically, yeah, if they're a new user, they get $5. So you could think maybe you could just create, $1 million divided by 5 users, but there's some limit. I think you can only make like $50,000 doing this. A couple interesting things that eventually led me to the solution, but it took a while, is there's a lot of like uppercase, lowercase stuff. And so it calls to lower all over the place instead of just doing it once at the start. So like there's just like all of these 2 lowers, which I thought was interesting. So I thought maybe like you could somehow over withdraw money because it would match 2 users, like an uppercase user and a lowercase user, but I couldn't quite get anything like that to work. That seemed to be fine. There's another part of the program where you could change currency. It didn't really seem like this impacted anything. Like at first, maybe I thought you could convert to like Vietnam Dong, where I think I forget what the conversion is, but I think like $100 is like $1 million in Vietnamese money. So maybe we could convert to Vietnamese money, and our user balance would easily be over $1 million. But it only prints out the new currency. It doesn't actually do anything with it. And if you can see, this ends up actually being part of the exploit, but not in the way I thought. You can see it changes something called a culture info, and it sets the culture equal to that, and then it gets the currency symbol, and then it'll tell you what the new currency is. But like I said, it doesn't actually change the value of anything. So we're not changing to Vietnamese dollars. So like I said, eventually, after some Googling of like common C# mistakes, I think eventually I found something that related to string conversions in a specific culture, I think is what C# calls them. And that's where the bug is. So it turns out there's a famous bug on Turkish characters, and specifically Turkish eyes. And so actually, maybe it was this one. There's a couple articles somewhere. I think Joel Spolsky and some other people had articles where they talk about this. Where's the article? Okay, anyways, let's see. Here we go. So I guess basically, I guess Turkish language has a couple of different I's, and calling lowercase on one of them doesn't return the correct, like a standard US I. It'll return a different I. And so basically using these different types of I from switching from Turkish language, basically the exploit's going to go is we're going to switch to Turkish, create a Michael that does not match anything, So we're going to create a Turkish Michael. Then we're going to switch back to the US English, and the lowercase I does match against Michael. And so we'll be logged in as Michael because it's going to call that to lowercase all over the place. So we're going to log in as Turkish Michael. And when it does to lower, it's not going to see, oh, actually, let me back up. So when you create a new user, it's just going to verify that that user doesn't already exist. But when we create a Turkish Michael, it's going to call that to lower. And since that Michael doesn't exist with the Turkish I, we're going to be fine. And we'll be logged in as Michael. But in the future then, when we switch back to English Michael, when it does to lower, it will match the balances for the real Michael. And so essentially we've just logged in as Michael by creating a fake Michael account. Again, the logic is a little bit contrived because, like I said, it's doing all these username matches. Where do I say, so when you log in, it's going to check for users equal to username. So I mean, it's kind of hinting here for every user, and it's going to check every password. So it kind of hints that you might have multiple users with multiple passwords that have the same name. Because technically, if you match one of the users, you could just break here. Like as a developer, once you've matched one username, you're not going to continue looping over users. So a little bit contrived, but basically that's the exploit, is we're going to abuse that Turkish character. And so this was what the solve script looked like. We connect, we do the proof of work. So like I said, we're going to set our language to Turkish. Then we're going to create an account. Again, we're going to use this Michael with a capital I. So this will then be converted. When to lower is called, it's not going to go to an English I, it's going to go to some other Turkish I with a password of A. So we created this user. And basically, yeah. Then we're going to go to here. We're going to then set the currency back to the US. Michael didn't have a full $1 million, so then we're just going to create a bunch of accounts. So we're going to create a new account. We're just going to call it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're all going to give them a password of A. Then we're going to log in as those new users, and we're going to send that money to Michael. Then we're able to log into Michael. So there's two Michael accounts. One has the password of some unknown thing, and there's another Michael that has the password of A that we set because of the Turkish character. But since we can log into this Michael and both Michaels refer to the same balance, we are now logged in as Michael and we can use his single balance. And then from there, you just do show balance and it'll be done. I don't know if the code is still up. Python 3 solve. Oh yeah, it looks like it's still working. So right now it's doing the proof of work. So like I said, I just have PwnTools script this command out. I run it in shell in Python. It takes a couple of seconds. There we go. So right now it's creating all of those 10 users and sending money to Michael. So Michael should have over $1 million by the time this is done. Cool. And then we log in as Michael, password A, and then here we're doing 3, check balance. It says, wow, you have $1 million, and here's the flag. So like I said, very cool challenge. Just from, I think there's a couple different bugs. The first one is, I think it's interesting that system globalization is global. So by setting this global property, culture info is like some global variable, I guess, for the entire program. By setting it, all string conversions will use this, specifically the to lower call, which is used all over the place. It's also, I think the other bug was, it's strange that there's, like I said, there's a dictionary of how much money people have, the user balances, which goes from string. I think in the real world, this would be like a user ID of some sort, not just some raw string. And so then there would probably be a better mapping. But since we're able to create 2 users that then to lower gives the same points to the same user balance, that's the other bug. And the last, I guess, like kind of hint is that it's strange that there's this for loop where we iterate through all the users and passwords. Like maybe the new user would still be first and logging in with one of the Michaels with A would still work, but this is a little bit strange code that kind of helped our exploit work. But like I said, really cool challenge. I definitely liked it a lot.